be absolutely devastating.
Oh!
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
Excuse me.
All
right, what's up, everybody?
Oh, shit.
Welcome to GWR Gonzo'S Wrestling Room.
He about choked to death earlier today.
Shit, yeah. Been rough.
Here he goes. You'd think I'd punch him in the throat right before we go on. I'm going to start doing that, see if it keeps you from talking.
It might be better. Shit. I'm struggling over here again. But I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Tony Gonzo'S, Marcus Fine, and Warren Misery. How's it going, guys?
Doing good. Pretty good. Yeah, we'll get things started with Marcus Fine Independent Wrestling Report.
All right. I have some prayers. Randy Clemmy, also he wrestled on the Indiana wrestling scene. His Uncle Ernie was hospitalized over the weekend or one day last week, and I'm not going to go into details, but from what I understand, he's doing better, but we almost lost him. Let's just put it that way. He used to do option number 2 on Diamond Dan's before I took over, and he used to wrestle for Basher, one of his tag champs, part of the Country Boys years ago. So prayers to him. Talked a little bit to Justin Danger today. He has his surgery on Friday, so we want to send prayers out that goes well. He gets fixed, healed, and back on the wrestling scene.
Yes.
And then Alex's niece was in a car accident, Alex Bolton. He will be on with us here in a little bit, and I'll let him go into that. So prayers to those people. Birthdays for this week. My good buddy, the Micro Little Aussie's birthday is today. Zane West from AACW's birthday's on Thursday. Jared Savage, who I seen over the weekend, his birthday's on Thursday. That's the face collector. Thunder Kitty's birthday's also on Thursday. And no, that's not right. The JICW promoter, Stephen Hurt's birthday is on Friday. So happy birthday to them. All right. Kelly and I was at the Dub on Saturday for a very successful benefit show put on by the Hoosier Wrestling Alliance and Sam Mitchell. I have to commend Sam. He did a damn good job putting this together. $1,252 was raised for the family of Nathan Merritt. 65, is that what we come up with? 70?
Yeah, 65, yeah.
65 people and some damn good matches. So Saturday night saw Vinny Ratlock defeat Jared Savage. Jensen defeated Pogo. Troy Valentine defeated Cruiser to become the number 1 contender for the Hoosier Wrestling Alliance Hybrid Championship. Jordan Dye defeated Tyler Lydall in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Dex Royal defeated Damon Real and John Scrutch in a triple threat. Dion Freeman defeated Brody Botkins in a dog collar match to retain the AWR New Blood title. And Cavern Canyon defeated Gigi Jacobs in a street fight to retain the NEW All-American title. So a very good night. Damn good show. And Sammy did a fine job if you're watching. So, and then Casey Starks from AVW. See, the guy down at the bottom couldn't do his job and get me results. I had to go out and get them myself. But she must have known because Sherry sent them to me. But anyhow.
Yeah. I was busy with my managerial aspect of everything. So
let's see how she puts this. Okay. Jimmy Carrot defeated Joey O'Reilly for the AVW Heavyweight Championship. So Jimmy Carrot's still the champion there. Theo White defeated Miguel Murphy and Zach Nova. Limbo defeated Maliko. Kenneth James defeated Zay Gates. He is the new AVW No Limits champion. T.Y. Ice defeated Jason Levi. The Skywalker Eliminator for the number one contendership match. Let me try this again. The Skywalker Eliminator for number one contendership for the AVW Heavyweight Championship in the main event. It had Brody Balkins, Mike Noble, Devontae Knox, Elijah Arrows, Clayton Clark, and DeCobra, and DeCobra won that. And then in a Cantina street fight, Kid Riot and Christopher Gates versus Cold Hard Cash. My good buddy Rico Jones and Christian Cash, and they took that win. And the main event, DeCobra defeated Jimmy Carrot for the AVW Heavyweight Championship. So DeCobra is the new AVW Championship. I know they put that match together to piss me off. They said, we'll show Marcus for not showing up. We'll put them two in a match together, and he won't be here to see it. So anyway, go ahead, Warren. Tell us what you know.
Well, I know that the three-way match that my guy Mikkel Murphy was involved in, that Theo White, he qualified. Last I knew was for the ladder match we're going to be having for the key to the 210 Saloon belt. And I do believe T.Y. Ice's match also qualified him for that match. And don't quote me on it, but I do believe that the ladder match may be happening at the next show on June 1st. So, but yeah, basically, like she said, it was a lot of fun. It was, it was supposed to be the Sunday before, but weather permitting, and it was sort of Star Wars themed. And I let the crowd know my thoughts on that when I was out there. And the crowd, there's been better crowds, but the crowd was still hot given Mother's Day weekend. Weather was nice finally, and a lot of fun. So looking forward to more. Oh, but also I do believe think there may have been in the last match there, Limbo, Jimmy Carrot's former individual with the group, sort of turned on Jimmy and cost match. And also, I do believe if you looked on social media, I do believe he also then Limbo went and challenged DeCobra for the title on the first. So, yeah. Lots of things popping at ABW.
Yep. You definitely want to get over there. That is all I have.
Okay. Well, we'll bring Alex in and talk about a show that he's got on Sunday.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
You know you love me.
Oh my gosh. There we go. Thank you, Chris. Yes.
Dang. I feel the love.
Well, maybe Warren got a hold of the controllers.
How you guys doing?
Doing good, guys. Alex Bolton, the owner and one of the promoters for FEW. Got a big show coming up Sunday, May 18th. And I'll let Alex tell us about it.
Oh, yeah. So we're on the heels of probably one of the best FEW shows, and I think that this one might be topping it. A couple new faces to FEW are going to be coming in, and I think that it's going to be a show that you really don't want to miss. Just want me to go through the matches first, or you want me to go through the details?
However you want to do it.
All right. So it's going to be at the H.J. Rick Center at 122 West Main Street in Greenfield, Indiana. Doors open at 5, bell time's at 6. We got Elijah Arrows facing Hayden Buckland. Elijah Arrows has been on a tear recently since putting Adonis in his rearview mirror. So he's facing Hayden Buckland, who's debuting, but he's no stranger to gold himself. He has gold in Canada and the United States, so that should be a really good challenge for Elijah. We have Mike Noble. I know Marcus Fine loves Mike Noble. Mike Noble is going to take on Jax. We got Adonis is going to take on a newcomer in Cecil Donovan. I have personally never seen Cecil Donovan work myself, but based on what I've been told is that this match is probably going to be a TV quality match. Obviously, we got Brandon Day, who's a mainstay at FEW. He's going to be taking on Mikey from Empire, the bigger muscle of Empire. He's going to be taking on Brandon Day. probably the most underrated match, but the match I'm looking forward to the most right now. We got Mitchell Taylor taking on Ricky Guns. That match likely to steal the show. Ricky Guns has been probably the top person in the state. So just you guys should make sure you listen to the crowd's reaction with Mr. Guns. We do have Crystal Moon, our women's champion. She is going to be having an open challenge, which has already been answered. I am not going to reveal that on here. I'm going to leave it to our social media to reveal it. But I will say this: this woman is no stranger to FEW, and I really look forward to her surprising Crystal Moon if that's the case. We have Empire with it's going to be JT and Matt taking on Andre and Too Loud Timmy Jackson. That has been made official. Our ring announcer is moving into tag team with Andre to try to get rid of this Empire debacle. So that's bound to be an interesting matchup. And we're going to end with the best match that Independent can possibly have right now. Jacob Rose versus Logan Myers. It's the FEW heavyweight champion versus the FEW Mid-Continental champion. No titles are on the line. It's just bragging rights. Both men have been saying that they're the best in the FEW locker room. We're going to put them out there and let them determine it themselves.
Sounds like a pretty good card.
Oh, yeah. It's very solid.
Again, what time did the doors open and bell time?
Doors open at 5. Bell start time is at 6. We'll have everybody out of there by 8:30. We're good at that. It's 122 West Main Street, Greenfield, Indiana. Come out and support us. And if you see any independent shows, especially in the state of Indiana, with everything going on, I'm not wanting to really go into the extreme detail, but I'm sure everybody on wrestling Facebook and TikTok and Twitter knows it. It's never been more important for everybody to get out and support independent wrestling right now.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that sometime after we have more details.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Garza put on the newest information, but it's still up in the air. I've been in contact with a couple people myself, obviously, but it's still up in the air. So let's just all the fans can do is really get out in droves and support all of independent wrestling. If you guys can hit 2-3 shows in a weekend, do it.
Yep, and we'll be on a show also Sunday. Warrior Pro Wrestling. Doors open at 2. Wrestling starts at 3. Warren, do you have any information on that at all?
Not a lot. I do believe last check, there will be the main event is a tag match of Agents of Chaos versus Buck and Dynamite. And in order for me to get the Agents of Chaos back in, because David Knights kept ducking, he had some demands. And that demand was it had to be for the tag team titles. So that are on the line, and that's the main event.
Okay. And then the titles are vacant, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So,
I thought he was getting. They said a different match was debated.
oh, here we go.
I've seen something about like Jeremy Hadley's going to discipline Buck Sexton's son or something. I've seen something about that.
Well, I don't know about all that, but
That's what I'm saying. That's what I think.
I don't know about the discipline. I know there's a match. I don't know about the discipline.
I heard something about a belt and something about his parents didn't raise him right. I don't know. I digress.
Okay.
Sounds like something Hadley would say.
Well, that's quite possible. Hadley might be trying to take care of some business. Who knows? Well, we appreciate you coming on. Hey, and I was going to see if you could stay on a second. Well, first of all, I wanted you to talk a little bit about. I believe it was your niece that was in this accident.
Yeah. So my niece was in an accident this weekend on Saturday about 6:30ish. She was unresponsive for about 3.5-4 hours. She finally woke up and was able to move and stand. It was obviously a very scary situation. She's really beat up. She she got released from the hospital yesterday and immediately went back this morning. And if her with her, because of her kidney, she has a lacerated kidney. If her numbers don't look better, then she will be going into emergency surgery probably either tomorrow or the next day to have it removed. So obviously prayers, the thoughts and prayers and everything is definitely appreciated in that situation.
Can we go back a minute?
Yep.
You didn't tell us what ticket prices was.
So up
You
until
thank Kelly for that. She's over there like,
I know
what?
hey, I appreciate it. Up until Saturday at noon, the tickets are 12 o'clock on on FrontierEliteWrestling.com. After that, they go up to 15. But something that nobody's really doing. Everybody, if you go on our page, everybody has a code. If you're buying tickets, make sure that you put your favorite wrestler's code. That's another way you guys can support the wrestler. Their code. We see that. Go throw on Heathen for Ricky Guns. I'm trying to King for Mitchell Taylor. I'm trying to think Brandon for Brandon Day. Like whatever. It's all on the FAW Facebook page. Make sure you guys are putting those codes in to support your favorite wrestler. We see that. They like to see that. I get asked all the time by the wrestlers, did anybody use my code? Did anybody use my code? Make sure that if you're buying tickets online, use their code.
Is that King from Mitchell Taylor or Burger King from Mitchell Taylor?
I'm going to say King just because I don't want to
You're afraid
face
of
the repercussion.
All right. That's Marcus's favorite.
Oh, I know.
Burger King.
Let's say there's others that I dislike more, but
okay. Oh, you sure?
Oh, I know. I'm sure.
Okay. We had a topic we was going to bring up, and since you're a promoter,
Can I do one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Well, Kelly's over here reminding me. Gabby Abby's on. Gabby Abby's had her knee surgery this week.
Yes.
We need to put her in prayers and get wells and good luck and everything. So Gabby Abby, get better and hope to see you back soon.
Yeah, definitely get
Hurry up and get back and kick Reggie's ass.
Yeah, most definitely. Get that knee fixed and really kick his ass.
And I should be done until Kelly tells me I have something else. So
okay, all right. Are you sure, Kelly? Anything else?
No, I know.
Well, we had a couple of topics. One of them was how has independent wrestling changed over the years? Now, Marcus has got a lot more years with independent wrestling, and especially more consistent than me and Chris. But we've been around independent wrestling for the last 3 or 4 years. Warren's fairly new. Also, he may have seen some up in Michigan. I don't know about that when he was up there. I don't know. And you've been involved, of course, in independent wrestling for the last few years also. Is there any changes? Marcus, I'm going to go to you first. What's the biggest changes, if any changes, you've seen over the years with independent wrestling?
Laziness. People do not get out and promote these shows. Ever since social media come about, everybody thinks you could promote your show on Facebook and they'll get 1,000 people in their doors. Back in the old days, they were posting flyers and going into businesses, getting sponsorships. If you had a wrestling show coming to your town, you knew about it because it was out there. You couldn't go down a main street in any town and not see a flyer, a poster for the show coming up, the newspaper where you can buy tickets. Now it's just, we got a show coming up. Come and see it, and then nobody's on Facebook, so nobody sees it. So
I was going to say, not everybody has social media.
That is the biggest thing I think I've seen.
And now you don't even, to Marcus's point, you don't even see posters hardly for shows. Like when we first started, you really can't. They can't see. You don't have the camera. I got the camera zoomed up. When we first started, I'd get a poster for every show we went to, and they're hanging up here on the wall behind us. But now we go to shows, and like nobody has hardly any posters or anything. So I used to always try to make sure I got one to put up to have, because I thought it was cool to have up on the wall for like all the ones we've done. But a lot of them don't even make posters anymore like that.
I can remember going to my local grocery store, and one of the first things I did was to go to the bulletin board because there were shows. That's where they would put the shows. If there was any shows coming to
Yep.
Muncie or close Dunkirk or wherever close to Muncie, and that's how I found out about the shows.
I know when Basher was running, especially Greensburg, you can run around Greensburg a month before the show came to Greensburg. There'd be big old posters stapled to telephone poles. And the same with Jerry Wilson and the Hoosier Pro Wrestling.
Around here in Muncie, you used to see them on telephone poles
Yes.
all the time. I remember being at a stop sign and I'd look up and see a wrestling poster on the light post.
In Muncie,
Yeah.
right at the stop sign.
We do have to be careful on the light posts. Like, obviously, some towns are stricter than others,
Yeah.
but I did get yelled at for certain light posts in Greenfield. But there's still ways around it.
But you go into businesses and tape your flyers
Oh,
on
yeah.
windows and stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
and
oh,
you don't
yeah.
see that anymore either, really.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a couple good businesses to hit. I have a rotation of like a route, not rotation. I have a route I go and just hang them on the bulletin boards, like Tractor Supplies, Baumgartners, all those all have them. Casey's gas stations all have them. Speedway gas stations do not anymore, which kind of sucks because everybody likes Speedway. But I mean, you just got to get out there and talk to them. I know I'm not the best at it. I suck at talking a lot of times, but you just got to get in there and talk to them. I mean, a lot of Chinese restaurants, it's a 50-50 shot on them. Some will let you, some won't. Some will ask for more posters to put on their bags. So you just gotta kind of take advantage of what you can, and just if they say no, just kind of be respectful and just come back and try again, and just continue to try to build that where they're like, okay, they're in the community.
And
Marcus?
you want another one? You want
Yeah.
another one?
Yeah.
Wait until the last minute to even tell us you got a show. And then, okay, so you promoted your show for 3 days, and you wonder why nobody's in your arena. And getting your tickets out to people who's supposed to sell your tickets. And not throwing jabs, but I kind of am.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You've got to put that effort in there.
Yep.
Yeah, whenever you announce your show, this is my opinion. I've never promoted. Well, I have helped promote a show before. I'll take that back, but that's been many years ago. But I do know that when we did that, when we announced the show, guess what? We had tickets that day. They were available.
Yep.
When that show was announced, you could have bought tickets that day when it was announced. And I think that's the way it should be. I mean, you got to have, access. And I know sometimes they depend on, well, I'll get you at the door. Can you hold tickets for me? And that's nice to do. But the problem with that is you got people who you don't have their money yet and you're holding tickets for them. Now they're not going to show up. That's the only bad side of that. And I'm not putting anybody down because I've had people hold tickets for me before. So
I give that to Juanita. She will not reserve a seat if the seat ain't paid for. She worked out a while recently. So we got people say, well, we reserve our seats. I said, have you paid for them yet? Because they're not going to do it if you don't pay for them. Because that's not fair to the people standing out there on the sidewalk.
Yep.
Because you might show up like Alex says, and then you don't, and that seat's sitting there. And yep.
And especially, like I said, with the new rules and regulations that are coming up very quickly, especially people like that have higher occupancy. I can't even freaking talk. Higher room for people.
Occupancy.
Thank you.
I didn't know what you were saying either till you explained
I knew what he was saying, but I wasn't going to try to say it.
I got tongue tied. Especially people that have bigger venues, definitely try to help them out because they're going to go by the building size, not the actual number of fans. So if you have a building that holds 1,000 and you only sell 10 tickets, then you're still paying for those 1,000 seats. So just keep an eye out on it. Like nothing's like locked in stone quite yet, but it's something right now that is very on the cuffs.
Well, not only that, as I know it's not detailed, but I hadn't said anything to Chris. I said anything to Marcus. It could affect us.
Oh, I've already been looking into it.
Yep.
It's mentioned about
too, being a ring announcer. I've already looked into it.
So I talked to a promoter in Ohio who said that the rules and regulations is very similar to how they did for Ohio in the beginning. So he said at first they were kind of like pushing it, but they got more lenient over the last 15 years or so. But it's something where us as promoters, like even the promoters that don't like us or like me or like Joey or anybody, we really kind of have to work together with this situation to make sure that Indiana wrestling survives.
When we go off the air, I want to tell you guys something.
Okay.
But I can't do it here.
Okay.
Justin Danger had a good point too. Have tickets for the next show at the Flyers. I also think you ought to have people who don't want to get online to get tickets. You should probably have a ticket outlet somewhere. I don't know if you do that, Alex.
So I have physical tickets. I have not found a brick and mortar to hold them, but that's a good idea, and that's something that I'll look into doing as well. Because I know back in the quote-unquote OG days with Rob Kincaid, you could go to the Southside Flea Market and get tickets. So
Joey's Lebanon show, you go to the El Mason you can buy tickets to El Mason there in Lebanon, and I don't know what he's doing in Frankfurt yet.
When we helped with that one show here, you could get him at a tattoo shop, a car. There was a car lot.
Yeah, we had ticket outlets.
We had 2 or 3 places that would do
it's all about building those relationships with those companies. So it's small businesses need to help small businesses, and like that's pretty much where we're at. Where if a lot of these companies like don't get sponsors and stuff, like I'm not going to say the exact dollar amount because it's not really there, but it's going to drastically increase the price of being a promoter. Like other people will have to pay, obviously, or whatever, but the price of being a promoter will skyrocket.
And if that happens, that's gonna have to affect the consumer, I would assume, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So tickets right now that are like at the Dub, they're $12.15, the same as mine. They're probably going to have to go up to $15.20, and it just really depends on the language and the law, because there's different states do it different ways, and I've looked at all the different states and everything. But like Missouri, for instance, like for every ticket sold, the state gets money. Even that's for every ticket distributed. So if I go out to the Boys and Girls Club and I give them 50 free tickets, any ticket that comes back in, I have to pay the state for that ticket. So it really puts the promoters in a bad spot, because it's like, we want to go out and do these these charity shows and these shows and give tickets to the kids and the VFWs, and we want to do that. But if they truly pass the law and make it as strict as like Missouri, then a lot of that situation is going to die.
Yeah, the thing that I seen today, it was very I don't know. Well, it didn't even hardly mention wrestling. It just mentioned boxing and
yes,
stuff like that. So everything's very up in the air. I don't know what the word is, but I say very up in the air.
One of the ladies that I've talked to, she has said that in the Indiana state statute, it doesn't have a clear definition of pro wrestling. So they have to do that first. So even though as of July 1st, they are in charge of us, they're like, we need to figure out if they're going to give us a grace period or what they're actually going to do for us. Like, I mean, it's not like it's super crazy. It's just that they pass a law in April and we have to have it done, and there's a lot of cost involved, and they want us to have it done by July 1st. And if somebody like and obviously everybody, you guys all know, I mean, there's a bunch of shows throughout the summer, that your pop-up shows, you got your fair shows, we got our Kids in Carthage show, we have a beauty pageant show. So I'm going to have next to no time in order to actually to try to get the documentation that's required by July 1st. So it's really like trying to get the government officials to like hey, like, yes, as of July 1st, we're in charge, but we're going to give you until January 1st. Just we need a grace period.
It's going to be interesting. I know, like, well, Justin made a comment on it. He said he thinks it's going to be a few years, I believe. I think maybe he means before it goes into effect. I'm not sure what Justin means by that.
I know that they are taking over as of July 1st, because the law has been signed by the governor. But it's by the time they get it fully enforceable, he's probably right. But all myself as a promoter, all I'm asking for is a little bit of a grace period, because you're throwing possibly tens of thousands of dollars that we have to come up with, and you give us a month and a half.
Well, I think for one thing, it sounds like to me, I'm not saying this is what their goal is, but to me, it sounds like it could eliminate some promotions.
It will. There's no doubt in my mind.
And not to, I mean, I don't want to see anybody go under, but that would also, some promotions getting eliminated wouldn't be a terrible thing either.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're going to get rid of like some of your backyard feds and stuff like that. But I mean, it still creates issues with best way to word it would be like your companies that don't like other companies, because if you read what Dan Garza put, and it's actually in effect in Ohio. So if a company does not like me, they can call and report that I'm running a show, and even if I have my event permits and all and I'm clear, I'm still going to have to come out extra money, because I have to pay for the expenses and all that for that person to come and try to shut me down, pretty much. So, and obviously the way the law is written, it's not more than $500. But I mean, if they come and it costs a promoter an extra $150, just for them to come out and say, oh, everything's good, that's an extra 10 to 20 tickets that we have to account for every single show, just in case of somebody calling in against us.
Well, see, that's backwards. I would say if they were to come in and investigate you, and you're on the up and up, then the one who petitioned the claim ought to be the one paying that money. It was not the backstabbers, because you're going to get a lot of that now.
Yeah,
with how petty the wrestling business is.
Yeah, that's what me and my friend, the promoter in Ohio, that's what we were talking about, and so it's just something to think about, and we have to be aware of, and like somebody like Joey that runs every single Friday night, it's going to hurt his pocketbook more than mine, because he runs a weekly show. So it's really I'm not going to use the terminology cash grab, because it could be beneficial for certain situations, but at the same time, I mean, ultimately it's exactly that. It's literally like they seen the money that came in from the Royal Rumble, and they're like, they wanted a piece. Now I will say like the promotions that survive the first, this first little onset of it, has a little bit of an advantage, like when WrestleMania comes, because all these other companies will have to get all those licenses and all that as well. So a lot of those companies won't want to do that. So that kind of narrows the playing field for us, the ones that survive the initial onslaught.
And like Chris brought up the point about, some promotions, possibly shutting down, not a bad thing. And I don't disagree with that, because I know some of the promotions maybe he's referring to, maybe. But the other part of that is, though, that could be less promotions for wrestlers to work, and it seems like there's more and more wrestlers. So that could be an issue for wrestlers.
I was about to say, is that's something else that, the talent's going to have to start thinking about is, well, maybe my asking price is going to have to go down now if I want to do this, because some talent could risk pricing themselves out of getting on to shows, Alex may go, hey, listen, you're a great wrestler, dude, but at the rate you're wanting, I can't pull that with what's going on now. So, sorry, I don't got a spot for you at that rate, and so talent themselves may need to start thinking that it's almost, I don't want to say there are any, but almost an ego check to some people. They may have to sort of realize what's going on. Maybe I'm asking for this amount. I was good when I could get it, but I'm not that good, and I need to lower my prices.
Well, and when I said that, I really wouldn't take it. I wasn't thinking of no particular promotion, but I mean, and this is not putting nobody down, but since we've been doing this, we've seen wrestlers in the ring that shouldn't be in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see some of that. We've seen some promotions that are on the up and up. So I think, there are these regulations. Some of it can be bad, but I think some of it could also be good because it's gonna weed away some of the promotions and some of the maybe wrestlers that aren't putting in the time to get trained. It'll get away, maybe get rid of some of the riffraff in that aspect and maybe help clean the business up a little bit. But with like anything else, when there's changes, there's going to be some good things. There's going to be some bad things, bad things too. Like you're saying, you just kind of have to get through the beginning, and I'm sure as it goes on, they'll make changes and things will get a little bit better.
And I mean, like I said on that other foot too, I said, with maybe a high price wrestler you can't do, but maybe if you find that, well, I've got these 3 guys over here that aren't asking as much, but they're not really that good, I can keep them off the card and afford the guy that is really good, that's going to put the butts in the seats.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Chris said, I mean, there's some good, but
it really comes down to like if it's just them coming after the promoters, like whatever, but it also comes down to like on the flip side of that, if they have to start paying for licenses, some of them might say, oh, I need more money. Or like for instance, like somebody like me, that I bring in people from other states, I bring in people from other countries. So somebody like me, I'm going to have to figure out like the logistics for me. Like, would a physical from Canada work, or do they have to come down here and get a physical here? Like it all needs to be put into legislation and make it where I know that I'm on the up and up. That's ultimately what I care about. I just want to be whatever I need to do. That's what I want to do. That way, not only FBW, but that way independent wrestling in Indiana can succeed.
And then, I mean, also, you got to think about venues too. I mean, what if some places are suddenly like, you know what? I don't want to get my hands in this.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be booking you to have any shows here. Or, venues may start seeing going, okay, well, if other places are getting more cuts of money, well, more needs to come our way too. I mean, it's a real
venues may have to pass inspection, and some venues may not be able to pass inspection. I'm not saying that there are venues, but I don't know.
So I'm not sure. I can only speak on my own situation on this. So it's always been like this, but like you're gonna like every place that holds a wrestling event is going to have to get an entertainment permit for the year, and like me, that doesn't affect me because I run in a theater, and they have an entertainment permit already. So it's going to be like, some of these venues can be like, oh, we already have an entertainment permit, and then what's already sky high rent is going to go up more. So it's really like it's going to be like who how you can communicate. The situation with the people that you work with, like Tony Seiler at the Rick Center. I'm sure me and him's gonna have a pretty long conversation about everything because I'm sure the insurances are even going to change as well. Like we pay sky high insurance premiums in Indiana for it, but now since we have a commission, is our insurance premiums going to go down?
Yeah, it would be nice. What are they offering in return? I mean, they're going to take money, and whether it's a money grab or not, I don't know. But what are you going to get in return? That's a good question. We're going to table this. So we got our special guest in here because we could talk on this forever. I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
A lot of different viewpoints, and it's kind of important us till we know more too.
Exactly.
Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
Have a successful show on Sunday.
And remember, Warren, I'm still the ratings draw, not you.
You just might want to leave now.
I'm going to make him kick me because I don't know how to leave.
There we go. All right. What's up, Ricky? Missed you yesterday, buddy.
That dude got talking. Didn't think he was going to stop. That's definitely interesting. And,
It's gonna be interesting to see what all comes of it. But I think some of it will be good for. I think some of it will be good for the wrestling business. So
well, we'll see. You never know. That's a good point. That's what I kind of figure.
yeah, that's how I think a lot of those commissions work.
Well, we're going to bring our special guest in for rapid fire. We're going to bring in Bob Steele.
Hey, what's happening, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing pretty good.
Well, how this works, I don't know if you've seen the show. We'll give some questions, each one of us, and Marcus will go first. Warren will go second. I will go third, and Chris will go fourth. We'll go probably about 20, 25 minutes.
Okay.
And we'll get things started off. Marcus?
All right. Well, you said this was your first podcast, right?
Absolutely, man. Never been on a podcast. I've listened to a few. I try to listen to them, and I'm a music guy, so
Well,
that's
good.
when I'm working. That's what I'm doing, listening to music.
All right. My first question always is, when did you get interested, and how did you get trained, and who trained you? How'd you get started?
I started in the business 97 or 98. I started with the Extreme Wrestling Federation and Jason Maples. Nate Phoenix, my little brother, had been working for a year prior, and I went and saw them at a show at the Plaza Bowl. And I watched my little brother tear it up, and I was like, damn it, I can do this. So I talked to Jason. Nate introduced me to him, and he was dating my mom at the time. And I said, listen, dude, I've been waiting my whole life to get into this business. Just give me a shot. So he gave me the tryout, and I trained every day. We set the ring up in our garage. Nate had me out there every day, and we'd been doing this our whole lives as kids, setting up pillows on the floor, slamming each other, watching wrestling as kids. We kind of knew what we were doing. And I just got a lot of ring work, man. Dusty Dillinger is probably the most formal training I've ever had. And he used to come down every week and have classes with the guys, and I was always there. I just soaked in as much knowledge as I could. Jason Maples, I guess, and Dusty Dillinger. I mean, those are who trained me. But a lot of it's self-taught, to be honest. I fell in love with the business, and I just studied it. I learned from Jason. Put me in the ring with a lot of what he called guns. So I worked Jimmy Snuka and Tracy Smothers, George Animal Steel, Demolition Axe kicked the shit out of me. Excuse me.
Oh, no,
He
you're
kicked
fine.
the shit out of me.
You're
I did. He kicked the crap out of me my first time that I ever worked him. George Still was a riot. They were all professionals, and they all said they saw something in me. Tracy Smothers tried to get me to go on the road. He would call Jay and say, "Hey, how's your boy? If I'm coming up, I want to work your boy, that Bob guy." So that's kind of how I got started. Jason Maples and the Extreme Wrestling Federation, man. That was my home for 18 years. I didn't have to go anywhere. I worked EWF every week. And that's it.
Well, Warren?
All right, you said you and your younger brother used to watch it as kids when you were young. Who were you who were you when you saw the TV screen? Who was your guy that you're like, that's what I want to be?
So the thing that I can remember the most is, I mean, the Hogans. Dusty Rhodes was my guy. Hogan was big, popular. Everybody wanted to be Hogan. I'm a Dusty Rhodes guy. The charisma, the working man, and I've never had the greatest body. I mean, I'm lazy. I don't like to work out. Actually, on my return to the ring, I've done more working out than I ever had in my entire career. I was partying, man, just living it up. But Dusty Rhodes for sure is my guy. And I mean, I love Taz. I mean, people always said, "Hey, I like to throw people. I like to submit people, tap people out." So Dusty Rhodes, and then later on became Taz. Just watching ECW underground tapes, I did a lot of that.
I got to see you the first time. I'm not sure because I'm old what year exactly it was, but probably 2006, 7, 8, around that time. You actually did some shows at Ross Community Center with EWF and Maples, and there were some shows that we were involved in
Here in Muncie.
Muncie, Indiana.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I remember those.
So my first question is, in your opinion, greatest wrestling match of all time?
My greatest wrestling match or the greatest wrestling match of all time?
What you think the greatest of all time was?
Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair. That just stands out to me, man. Steamboat and Flair. I mean, you can't. They had the crowd in the palm of their hand the whole match, and I love those old WCW, they were NWA guys.
Yes.
Nikita Koloff was another one of my favorites. When my brother and I would, we'd have Survivor Series matches, and we got to mix the NWA and the WWF. So I was always the bad guys. Let him be the good guy. And of course, I always had to be the giant, it's Andre. So I always got to choke slam my little brother, and that transitioned as we became wrestlers, man. Me and him, the one thing I do regret is me and him not tagging together as brothers. I wanted a Steiner Brothers type deal with me and him because he was the best that I ever seen, was my brother Nate.
Chris, and you want to do Kelly's real quick?
Yeah, we'll do Kelly's real quick. Kelly wants to know who your favorite super fan is, Kelly or Marcus.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna say neither one of them. I'm gonna give a shout out. I love both of them. They've been coming to watch me wrestle for years, and they've seen everybody in the state wrestle for years. But I'm gonna give a shout out to an old girl who used to come watch me wrestle, and she would buy a picture. Karen McBride. Karen McBride is the ultimate super fan. The ultimate Bob super fan. She bought every T-shirt, hat, photo, everything that I ever made. That woman bought it up, and her mom said she had a wall dedicated to Bob in her room. So I love Kelly and Marcus both, but Karen McBride is absolutely the super fan of all time.
Karen's a cool cat.
Yeah, absolutely, she was. Absolutely.
Yeah, we did have an A, B. Now we got a C. Okay, Marcus. No, Chris. Excuse me, I was going to skip over Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Usually I'll be all right with it. I actually have a question this time. Actually, I wanted to go back when you were talking about your training. You said you got with Maples and they gave you a tryout. What does a tryout consist of to begin training?
So he gave me just a quick runaround. It was after the show, right after the show, and he wanted to see how many squats I could do. He had me run the ropes. He was shocked that I knew to grab the rope already, but I didn't want to flip. He had me do a lot of running. And then the next day, when we got back to the house, he just holding the rope, had me testing back bumps, seeing if I could take the work. Tryouts are a lot different than what I got. I think that nowadays it's a money grab for trainers. I think that and I'm not knocking them. These guys deserve to be paid for what they're doing, for what they're teaching the business, because they're putting out good product. Osiris is Steve. He'll always be Osiris to me. Congo Kong puts out some great talent. I mean, Eric Surge just become OVW national champion or whatever up there. he's got it going on, and he should be paid.
He's got nerve.
Yeah, and I love that kid. But I think that a lot of it is you got to get the money, and that Jason was like that too. Um, I would bring down and I would put guys through their paces. I wanted to beat the shit out of guys because when I think of pro wrestlers, Dick the Bruiser comes to mind, badasses. Blackjack Mulligan. I love watching Stan Hansen. I like that stiff shit. I like how those guys worked it. Those guys are believable that they beat your ass. When I get in the ring with some of the guys and I look at them across from me, I'm like, you guys couldn't beat me up in a real fight with one hand tied behind my back. And so we were a lot rougher back then. I mean, we would put guys at chop line, we chopped the shit out of them. And I think a lot of it was just to test the moxie of the boys. I had a lot of guys who I trained a few guys. Justin Danger is one of my guys. He trained with Nate Phoenix and I. Um, Hank Calhoun is another guy who trained with us all the time. I was brutal to those guys because I wanted to be sure that you were tough. This business is about tough men. We're tough men out there beating the shit out of each other for the entertainment of fans. And there's a lot of cosplaying going on in the business these days on a lot of shows. Guys don't live the business. I was living it, man. I was a rock star at the EWF in Marion, Indiana, whatever. Every Saturday night and sometimes during the week, we were putting on shows and I was partying with the boys. I was living it up like a rock star. And I wasn't making a whole lot of money working for Jason, but I love the EWF. And I think that I was tougher on guys because I wanted you have to be tough to be in the business. You can't be a sissy. And I think a lot of guys are cosplaying. They don't. Their punches are weak. Their kicks are weak. Their moves are they're selling the shit. It's the drizzling shits, and it is what it is. I came back because my nephew Cody Lee begged me to come back. Him and he watched me from the time he grew up. Wrestling fans hated Cody Lee at the EWF arena. If you were at the EWF arena on Saturday night, everybody hated the little son of a bitch running around the ring. He was just a little asshole. And he was an annoying little asshole. And now he's an annoying little asshole in the world of professional wrestling. But I love that kid, and he's the whole reason I came back because he's tough. He's not a cosplayer. But I think there's a lot of that in the business. I think a lot of guys say, "Oh, I've been trained." They name drop. I can't name drop guys. They've trained me. The hundreds of matches that I've had have been my training, and honestly, that's repetitions. Get in the ring and do it. You have to do it. You have to get in front of fans, and you can practice all you want, but until you do it in front of paying fans, you're never going to get it. I'm sorry, guys, I ramble, man, but
you're fine. You're fine.
It's great.
You back to me? All right. Well, now I'm going to bring up a few stories, and then I'll ask you the question.
Gotcha.
One of the greatest matches I ever seen you in, and you didn't even bring it up. You said you like to make people submit. One of the greatest matches I seen you in was in a submission match with Dan Severn. You remember that? You lost because you put him in a cross-face chicken wing, and the stipulation between that match is you couldn't win the match.
That was Grizzly.
Was it Grizzly?
That wrestled Dan Severn. Yes, sir. And I actually just met up with Grizzly a couple weeks ago. Just hadn't seen him in forever, man. He's out of the business. He's working. And we talked about that Dan Severn match. Funny story. He was sitting here still. He goes, "Man, still right now, I got cold chills and I feel like shit in my pants because I had to wrestle Dan Severn." But he was a professional. Dan was real cool, and I remember that. Yes, that was Grizzly.
Okay, I thought it was you, but
But
I
that was
remember
an
that.
awesome match.
Yeah. And then Karen, that's funny because we know Karen because Karen sat right there. Karen,
Yes.
me, Kelly's sister. How many times did you? And this is not the question, but how many? Every week you would sign your autograph in her autograph book every Saturday night.
I had to do it,
How many
man.
did
She
you
made me.
have? It's like she had books and books and books and books of Jason Maples and Bob autographs because every Saturday night. Okay. And now I'll bring up a story about Cody. You talking about the little bastard running around the arena.
Yes.
He always wanted to get in my chair. If I stood up, he was in my chair. It's like, that's my chair. It's like, ow. So, yeah. Okay. I talked to Justin Danger just the other day about this. I didn't realize he's the one that done it to you. Tell us the story of when you had your broken ribs and laying on the pool table waiting on the ambulance to come out. You broke your ribs.
He just, yeah. So I I'm working Justin, and I shoot him off, and I tell him, I said, "You ducked to and hit me with a spin kick." He said, "Huh?" But he did exactly everything I told him to do. He just landed on me. Just landed, his big fat ass landed on me, and I'm laying on the pool table, and he comes up and just starts tapping on my peak. I couldn't breathe, and I looked down, I got some dude tapping on my wiener, and it's Justin. has me. I couldn't breathe. I thought I was dying, man. I thought I was dying. That's the only time I ever stopped in a match. And I looked down, Justin's tapping on my peak, man. Just that. I've known Justin. I've known Justin for what? I'm 47 now. I've known Justin for 45 years, his whole life. His grandmother lived right next door to me. So it was a lot of me showing how tough Nate Phoenix was and Jackhammer showing me how tough Justin was. We beat the shit out of those kids when we were younger, man. And we all four ended up wrestling together, and that's kind of cool thing that happened. Was I got to wrestle with childhood friends, and I never thought that had happened. Hell, I've known Andy for 40 years, or hell, his whole life. Johnny Crisis. He'll always be Andy Santos to me. But Johnny Crisis, I've known him his whole life as well, man. I grew up with his dad. His dad ref for us. Yeah, good times, man. Good times. I got a funny story about Justin and Nate Phoenix.
Go ahead.
So one night we did a triple shot in Michigan with Frank Stein and Rod Street. You guys familiar with some of those guys from up north?
Oh, yeah.
And we drove, man, Pat, me, Justin, and Nate in my little tiny green Saturn, and we drove, and it seemed like for hours to get to this show up north, and up near Jackson, up past Jackson, I believe. So we wrestled the first night, and we come back closer to town because we had another show the next night. We got 12 wrestlers walking to Pizza Hut or Pizza King with Jimmy Snuka tagging along with us, and we're all drinking. And some drunk guy stands up with his pants half down his ass and says, "Look, I want all your guys' money." Somebody pushes him, he falls into the bushes, and we just kept on walking, didn't even look. But later that night, I go to bed. I'm an old man. I got to get to sleep. I'm the one driving. Nate and Justin stay up. They're drinking and partying with the boys. Whatever, you guys live it up. Well, I get up about 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm thinking these some bitches should have been in bed by now. We got to get up. We got a double shot tomorrow. I go out. I can't find nobody. Everybody's out having fun. I look. Justin's passed out on the stairs. I said, "Dude, you have a whole bed. What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm all right." He slept there until we got up the next day. I go, I can't find Nate. I look in the hotel room. Nate's got his arm around Jimmy Snuka. Jimmy's got his arm around Nate. And those guys are hammering beers. "I love you, brother." Brother, I love you. I love all you guys. Jimmy Snuka was all about the boys, and I'll tell you, he was a cool son of a bitch. Jimmy, you want to go to the strip club? You want his wife to kill a Superfly, brother? Okay, we'll just stay here and drink then. So we had a lot of fun drinking with Jimmy Snuka and partying with him. But that's the funny story. Justin was passed out on the steps, had a whole bed to sleep in, and Nate was drunk crying with Jimmy Snook and telling each other how much they love each other. Great
Okay,
thing,
well,
great times, man.
All right.
okay, well,
Yeah. First off, and you brought up Dan Severn. He's from my hometown. He's friends with my family in Coldwater, where I'm from. And it's so funny. You talk about this is a guy that I've seen in a Meijer or a Walmart. He drives a minivan, has a fanny pack. You wouldn't know that this guy is the UFC Hall of Fame. This is like the scary, like one of the deadliest men alive. But yeah.
So I've been to his training facility, and I've worked shows with those guys. And he is absolutely just the calmest, coolest cat you will ever meet. Yeah, not intimidating at all.
Second he got in that
Unless
octagon,
you know what he can do. Right.
But my question is, do you have any good stories with like fan interactions that you had that just always sit in your head, that there's like someone that either was like one that got you going or you had a really good back and forth with?
Man, I have, so yeah. You got one for me?
Well, tell them about those two smart-ass kids that sat on the other side of that door every weekend yapping their asses off. What of his name was? I don't remember. What was those kids' name?
I don't remember.
So one of those little bastard children grew up to be a big some bitch. And he goes by the name of Brody Botkins. Those boys. Yes, sir. Brody would sit there with his cousin and his friends, and they would give me shit every show. Every show. He would come up to me at the end of the show. He would come up to me at the end of the night, and he'd say, "You know, I'm just messing with you, Bob. You know, I'm just out there getting the other fans going, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And I blew that kid off for years. And then I said, "Who the hell is Brody Botkins, Dakota?"
Yeah.
He said, "Man, that's that little kid used to cuss you out at every show." So yeah, and he got trained with Dustin Runnels, I think, or Dusty Rhodes. He went to his camp.
Dustin.
And he said I'm on his list. I said, "We'll see, big boy. I'm only come back for a limited reason, but we'll see." I feel pretty good about it. I feel real good coming back to wrestling, man. I missed it. It's something that I missed. If you guys know, man, you can't walk away. Well, hell, Marcus Kelly, if you guys don't go to a show a week, you guys probably feel like crap. You guys go to so many wrestling shows. I see it all the time, man. So many wrestling shows.
Yeah, Justin, we were talking about Drew and John. I forgot the names. Drew and John was the ones that.
Yeah.
That's
so
about. And John's no longer with us. He passed away, I don't know, 5 years ago, I think.
I didn't know that. Drew is a magician, I think. I just added him on Facebook. I saw he was one of the people lurking on my page, so I added him. And yeah, I think he's a magician.
Wow.
Your favorite wrestling match that you competed in?
Man, Jimmy Snuka, George Animal still stands out to that. And that was because at the end of the match, like he was forcing my face. He's like, "Rip the turnbuckle." And I was like, "I can't, man. I'm trying. I'm biting the turnbuckle. I'm doing everything in my power to rip this turnbuckle open for George Animal still." And I just couldn't do it. Finally, he gimmicked it or whatever. He got it open. But at the end of the match, he grabbed the ref, CJ Washington, who also works for OVW now. Shout out to my boy. And ripped him up up one hallway and down the other and said, "You son of a bitch, I work all over the world and I eat turnbuckles because I'm George the Animal Steel. That's what I do. Who the hell do you think you are that you're going to stop a legend like me from eating a turnbuckle?" He had this kid pissing down his leg, man, all up in his face. Turned around to the boys and smiled, turned back to the kid, smacked him, and walked away. Great, one of the greatest things I ever seen happen. George Animal Steel match stands out to me, but Tracy Smothers was my favorite opponent, and that's because that guy would let me beat his ass. He would call so much shit for me to do to him. Yeah, I loved working him. He said, "Don't be afraid. You got talent, kid. Get out here and work. Show me what you can do." And he never let me hold anything back. Because with those older guys, I felt they earned their spot. They were up at the top. I felt that I had to back off of them a little bit. I didn't hit them quite as hard as I did the younger guys. I knocked the shit out of Justin. He'll tell you.
Yeah, you stiff.
George Animal Steel. I'm not stiff. I work snug. All right, I might tell you this. But then again, man, that goes along with you can't be a pussy and be in this business, man. You have to be a tough son of a bitch. The last match that I had, well, it's been 7 weeks ago. I broke my ribs and it was just a missed spot. I was in the ring with Francis, and he caught me a little bit, and I don't know how many ribs I broke or how many I cracked, but I heard it pop and I felt it pop. And when he hit, I thought to myself, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then I said, "Oh, you got a move to take. And then you got a spot to do after that." So after the match, I couldn't feel nothing, man. The ribs killed me, but the adrenaline was pumping and got me through that. But Justin broke my ribs. It was a different monster, but this one hurt. And I think maybe me being in better shape, of more muscle, I was able to compete and finish the match. And luckily, my nephew pulled that one out of his ass and got us that Duke.
Chris?
All right. What's your favorite thing about the wrestling business, and what's something that you hate about the wrestling business?
I hate the cosplay, man. Wrestling has always been very real to me. Predetermined, call it what you want, predetermined, you know who's going to win, whatever. But wrestling has always been very real to me, and that's what I love about it. It's the raw emotion. I'm getting cold chills just talking about it. When I walk through that curtain and my music hits, and those fans are clapping, cheering, screaming at me, telling me they hate my guts, I love that about the business. I'm giving these people a release from their everyday bullshit in life. But what these people don't understand is that they're giving me my release from my everyday bullshit in life. So the reality of the entertainment of professional wrestling is what I love about it. What I hate is the pretenders. I hate the guys who don't put in the work. I'm in a chat room for AACW, and I talk shit to the boys. To the greenhorns that they have, the new guys that are in training. How many squats did you do today? What did you guys do to invest in yourselves in this business? I want to see guys succeed, but I want them to do it the right way. I want them to put in the work. I was lazy, and I feel like I missed my shot. I'm 47 years old. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to go on TV. The WWE's not signing 47-year-old men anymore. I feel like I missed my shot, and because I didn't work hard enough, and that's why I didn't go anywhere. Um, yeah, uh, I hate the cosplayers because I love this business. I have a genuine love for this business, and I come back and I've seen some things that I don't agree with, and I want to help clean it up. So I don't want to see guys coming out just being weekend warriors. Don't come in talking about, oh, I had a rough day at work. No, you leave that shit at the door because when you walk through that locker room door with your gear, you're a professional wrestler. Act like it. I think that guys don't carry themselves like they should. Um, I don't like the fucking pretenders, man. The cosplay shit pisses me off. And I get heated about it because I love wrestling, man, and I love the reality of it, and I love everything that it represents as far as guys going out there and plying their craft and getting that fan interaction. Um, and I don't like the big moves because I think character means more to moves. Who's that guy uh, who does that flip-de doo move? Looks kind of like a power bomb. What's that thing called? You guys know what that move is. Oh shit.
Canadian
The
Destroyer.
Canadian
What he's thinking of?
exactly.
Yep.
Canadian
But
Destroyer.
where's Petey Williams now? I love Petey. I'm not talking about, but that move, everybody does that move. And everybody thinks that if they can do that move, then they're a badass. Your moves don't make you as a pro wrestler. Your charisma and how you interact with the fans make you who you are as a pro wrestler. Hogan did shit moves. He could wrestle. Look at some shit from Japan. Hogan could wrestle. He just didn't have to
Nope.
because he had other shit, and that's what the fans bought into. The fans want charisma. They want you to interact with them. They want to believe that you can whip this guy's ass. Don't come out in a t-shirt or a wife beater, a dirty wife beater. Get professional gear, buy professional boots for Christ's sake, and take pride in what you're doing and look the part. There's too many everyday little Joes that I could beat up two guys at once in a real fight if they were to try me. And they're out here. I don't know, man. It's not believable when you got guys with no charisma out here doing shit. I don't. Yeah, don't fake it.
No, I agree because
This
I think the
business.
storytelling matters a lot more than the actual moves.
Oh, way more, way more. So when I'm talking stuff over with guys and I'm explaining to them, I always broke them down, but then I explain to them why. So I'm bigger than you. You're not gonna reverse me. You're not going to. Try to do it now. I'm gonna put you in a headlock, and I want you to just push me off without breaking me down first. There's little things in wrestling that matter. And those little things guys forget about. And they don't do that shit. But that's the shit that I've been doing for years. I've never had an issue getting a reaction from the crowd anywhere I've ever wrestled. And I didn't wrestle a lot of places other than Marion, Indiana. I did some Michigan shows. I did some shows in Illinois. Um, I did some stuff in southern Indiana, Bloomington. Um, with the tsunamis down there.
Hmm.
But I worked mostly and I never had an issue getting any reaction out of the fans. I could always get that reaction because that's my job, right? My job is to get them fans interested in me fighting this guy. When I fought Colt Cabana in Muncie, um,
Yep.
just listen to that dude tell me how we were going to do this match. What do you like to do? And the story we told was I was the asshole bad guy with his shit manager, but Colt Cabana still came out on top because he's Colt freaking Cabana. So the storytelling
remember-
means more than the moves. For sure. I don't. So what I love. So in short, I'll go back. What I love about wrestling is the reality of it. I don't like the fakes in wrestling. And you guys know. You guys go to shows. You guys can pick out the guys who shouldn't be in the ring. You can look at them and think, "What the fuck is he doing in there?"
Yeah.
I've never said that.
Marcus, good
Never
line.
said that.
I
Ever.
think Marcus has said that live on air before.
Yes, he has. Hey, look at him. trying to-
Yeah, what is he doing?
Yeah.
What is you doing? I mean, yes, I really want to know. What are you doing? Because you're not wrestling. You're not entertaining the fan. You think the fans laughing at you? They should be laughing with you, like what Nerd does. Nerd does that shit intensely, and he does it very well. He doesn't look like he could beat your ass, but what he does is very believable for him.
Yep.
So I think guys think too highly of themselves too. I think there's a lot of that. They think that everybody thinks they should be the champ. Everybody.
Yeah.
Every guy who steps through that curtain thinks they should be the heavyweight champion. I did that shit. It's not as fun as you think. Feeling like you're carrying an entire company on your back is not as fun as you think. Yeah, yeah.
We're going to be down to our final question right now.
Oh,
Marcus,
perfect.
Yes, sir.
on you.
All right. I've heard stories. Now I need to hear yours. The night that Jasmine St. Clair walked in the EWF arena,
Oh, here we go.
came in with the blue meanie, but she came fresh off the porn seed. And I don't care what you say, you guys were slobbering over that lady. I got pictures in my collection, and I could pull out and show you how you guys. The fans were supposed to be the one for the meet and greet, not the wrestlers, but we couldn't get to her to get it autographed because you guys were all on her. I don't know what went on upstairs. I've heard stories, but
So she was kind of prudy, to be honest. But we were all over because we'd all seen her, man. I mean, we're just above adolescent men. Yes, we seen Jasmine St. Clair, and this was before internet stuff, man. So we were having to get that shit. Like I think that and it may not have been her, but I think that I saw her in a backyard video where, and Cody Lee and I were just talking about this, hitting that pause button on that backyard video where they flashed the titties in between the scenes of the death matches. Yeah, we were sick perverts, man. I'll admit it. It is what it is.
I'll say I do. I have a picture. It's got Cheese, King, you, Nate, Justin, Jackhammer, Grizzly, Hardcore Superstar, Brian Paradise, Justin Fury. You guys are like, hey, this is intermission. You guys tend to talk to her upstairs, but you guys decided to come down and
but we couldn't talk to her upstairs because her and Meanie were on. So that was in the old theater, and her and Meanie had the whole other side of the projection room upstairs.
Oh, okay.
It was a big horseshoe. Matt Bourne pissed all over the door upstairs. Just turns around, whips his dick out, just pisses all over the door.
Oh, you got something to talk about.
Jackhammer, and this is before Jake got his shit right. When Jake got to us, he walked in with two guys and told Jason, "I need my money." And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't tell this, but I watched Jake and I wrestled him that night. And I was so disappointed. But Jake turned around and handed cash to these two guys and said, "Go get my rock." And I watched in horror as one of my heroes sat and destroyed himself, man. Smoked crack, blown it out of the upstairs projection room. You know, we went out to the roof. We had a hatch, and Jake just sat up on the roof and smoked crack. Came out drinking vodka, He tried to stuff the snake down Hank Calhoun's pants. And I'm in the ring and I'm tatering him on his forehead. And he said, "Is that all you got, big boy? You're going to hit me." And I'm peppering Jake Roberts. I left knots on Jake Roberts' head because he told me to. He's Jake Roberts. He's telling me to hit him harder. And we found out that he was just going through shit, man. We didn't realize it. He went out there, did what he did. I actually cried when I seen Paige getting back right. Diamond Dallas Page saved Jake Roberts' life, and I thank him for that because I seen him at his worst, and now seeing what Paige was able to do with him and get his life back on track totally made my whole life better.
Jake is one of my favorite wrestlers that I got to meet. I actually got to meet him at an EWF show here in Muncie at Ross Center, and I got to sit out in front of the community center with him for 45 minutes to an hour. We were just sitting out there smoking cigarettes and shooting the shit. That's one of my favorite memories of in pro wrestling.
He was
Jake Roberts outside
another guy who he could hold an entire audience, man, just speak so softly and hold the whole world in his hands. He had that gift. Yep, Jake Roberts is definitely one of my favorites too. Another guy.
Warren?
All right, mine's easy. It's easy. Would you consider yourself NWO or you degenerate?
Oh, I'm DX all the way, baby. DX all the way. D-Generation X. Still that I'm Gen X anyway. So I'm like, fuck it. I've been called a degenerate. I grew up a punk rocker, so I was called a degenerate my whole life. When DX came on the scene, it was like, yes, sir. Finally. It was kind of like Eminem for white boys. When Eminem started rapping and he came on the scene, he was the great white savior. That was DX for me in pro wrestling. I didn't give a shit about anything. Cross chopping the whole world and telling everybody to suck it. You can keep that too sweet shit. Suck it.
I agree with that. Funniest person you've been around in a wrestling locker room?
Oh shit, man! That Georgia Animal Steel incident, because he is one of the most educated. He was one of the most educated men that you would ever. He was a freaking college professor.
Yes.
Him and Spike Dudley was a funny son of a bitch too. Another guy, super intelligent, funny as hell. Funny as hell. I told him, he's like, "Who's your guys' favorite wrestler right now?" And I told him Taz. He's like, "Taz is a fat ass," and just kept on totally ignoring me for the rest of the whole seminar. Like, wouldn't talk to me because I mentioned Taz. Like, pissed him off.
Chris, you got the final question.
All right, you had mentioned that you was a big music guy. What kind of music do you listen to?
Man, I grew up listening to a lot of punk rock. Social Distortion, Guns N' Roses. I love Guns N' Roses, Metallica. They were my guys. I listened to Social Distortion, a lot of West Coast punk rock, No Effects, No Use for a Name. I'm an old punk rocker, man. And Rancid, it shows on my vest. That's me now. I decided that, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to be who I am. Chris Bob, the gentleman punk rocker. That's just who I am, man. I garden. I fucking I go to work every day. I support my family. I'm just a normal guy, man. But I love fucking punk rock, and that's what I listen to all day long.
Mike Ness is the shit, man. I saw him live out
fucking
there.
Ness is a god. Ness is one of the gods. If I pray to Mike Ness, he's a badass for sure. Yes, sir.
I try to sort of model my manager after here. It's more misery. I try to get that little California punk style with the auto shirts and flat bills. And
man, I've been rolling the cuffs on my jeans for my whole life, man. That's it. Mike Ness is the man. With my big biker chain or whatever to be. Yep. That's who I am. Punk rock is my shit.
Oh yeah.
What asking for you?
But I listen to everything. I have an affinity for outlaw country music too, man. Willie and Waylon and Hank Jr., all those fucking cats, for sure, they're badasses. I can listen to anything though. I like R&B. I like gangster rap. Just depends what kind of mood I'm in. But punk rock is my go-to for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big punk rock fan. Also, like Metallica. A lot of the bands you just said is stuff I listen to.
Right on, right on.
Social
Oh
media.
yeah, and the way I usually end with my last question also is, which I don't know if you do since you're just coming back, but I usually give you guys a chance to promote yourself, let people know if you have merch, social media, where they can find you, any of that good stuff.
So as of right now, the only bookings I have are for AACW. They have a show coming up the 22nd. I believe it's next weekend. Um, I have no idea what's going on yet. I'm not real sure. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to be back. You can find me on TikTok, Chris Bob. I have Chris Bob Still on Facebook. You can find me there. I will have pictures. I've got some shirts in the works. Um, Cody Lee and I are really trying to squash this little thing we got going on, and I think we're going to try to do some tag matches together. So you guys can look for that in the future. Because I mean, with me and him, we got our beef. He's pissed off because I was off my game. I've been out of the business for 6 years, but it's family over everything with me and him. I love that kid, and I want to see him succeed where I didn't. So I'm back, and I'm back to help him. Let's do the damn thing. You know what I mean? So you guys can catch me at AACW in Sharpsville on May 22nd. Am I right with that?
24th.
24th, May 24th. I appreciate it. I knew you guys would be there for me. But I am taking bookings. So you guys give me a call. Check out my Facebook page, Chris Bob Still on Facebook, or Christopher Bob Still on Facebook. It's a character page. You can check me out on there. Yeah, get me on that book, guys. I'm ready to work. Let's get it on. You need an old school professional, 20 plus years in the business. Here you go. Chris Bob Still. Let's get it on.
Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me.
I'd like to see if these guys would agree. I'd like to maybe do a special episode sometime and just let you get on here and tell some stories.
Well, no, that's funny because me and Kelly just said we can go another 2 hours of just shit we remember.
Yeah. So I'll get with Marcus and we'll come up with a date and see if you want to do it.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yes.
This is my first, like I said, first fucking podcast ever. You guys knocked it out of the ballpark, man.
You did too.
Probably as good as I get.
I feel like we could definitely do another one. Hey, and if you guys know any promoters looking for that old school talent, shoot them my way.
I know some promoters. I'll definitely say something.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, I appreciate you, boys.
Yep. You have a good night, sir.
Yes, sir. Punk rock for life. Let's go, pro wrestling. You guys have a good night.
Yep.
Yeah, you too. I thought that was real good.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh yeah, we could have gone another 2 hours. At least.
Easy.
You got anything? Blah blah blah. Anybody got anything else before we get out of here?
Well, we got.
You guys already announced the 2 shows coming up. There's also a show at the Dub on Sunday. Doors open at 2:30. Bell time's 3:30. It is a benefit show for Mrs. T.S. Wiley. She's got medical issues. I will leave it at that. And they are running a benefit show at the Dub on that Sunday as well. So,
yes.
And that's all the info I got.
Yeah, definitely check out the show on 2 shows on Sunday, FEW and Warrior Pro. You can check their their pages and then get any information we give that out earlier. But Warrior Pro, I believe, doors open at 2, show starts at 3, And FEW, I believe doors open at 5 and the show starts at 6, and that's in Greenville.
Yeah.
Word Pros in Danville, Indiana. So definitely check out those shows. They both do good shows, so check them out. And everybody have a good night.
Yep. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube, like and follow Facebook, Twitch, X, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room. And we'll see you guys on Monday.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
Here, this is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever